These preparations assume that the altar candles have already been lit. Altar server 1 and 2 bring up the gifts to the offerings table. Note how they are always shoulder to shoulder and how they reverence the altar. The reason they bow is because they are carrying items. After putting the items on the offerings table, they will ask a family to bring up the offerings. Since their hands are free, they genuflect and bless themselves. During the processional, altar server 1 and 2 flank the cross-bearer with candles. They all bow their heads at the same time and remain shoulder to shoulder even when turning. The servers form a team. They never leave their man behind, always remaining shoulder to shoulder. And like Saint Tarcisius, they remain at attention, ready to protect the Blessed Sacrament and the priest from any attack. After the general intercessions, altar server 1 and 2 bring to the altar the corporal, the purificator, the chalice, the pall, and any extra patens, chalices, and purificators. This may take more than one trip. They do not step on the rug. Notice how altar server 1 and 2 do not normally place the vessels and the linens on the altar, but instead hand them to the one who is arranging the altar. Usually, this is the deacon or the master of ceremonies. They bow to the altar and remain shoulder to shoulder. The server that has the wine flagon continues to the credence table and waits for the other server. This circumstance demands that altar server 1 and 2 separate. Had they both brought up the water and the wine, both would have continued to the credence table to remove the stoppers. Once there, they both remove the stoppers from their vessels. Notice how altar server 1 and 2 always turn inward and walk in straight lines. The visible decorum is an expression of the interior reality, the love and awe that is felt when serving God at the altar. After having presented the water and the wine, altar server 1 and 2 prepare for the lavabo, which is Latin for I will wash. If Father is incensing the altar server 1 and 2 wait for the incensation of the altar to be completed. After washing Father's hands, altar server 1 and 2 immediately begin preparing for the ringing of the bells during the epiclesis and the consecration. Once they are done, they stand at attention for the Holy, Holy, Holy. When the Holy, Holy, Holy has been completed, altar server 1 and 2 kneel along with the rest of the faithful, and remain vigilant. As soon as Father places his hands over the offerings, the bells get rung once. The bells are rung 3 times at each elevation. After having received communion, altar server 1 and 2 kneel in prayer. When Father returns to the altar from distributing communion, server 1 and server 2 bring the water that will be used in the purification of the vessels, also known as the ablutions. If Father holds the chalice in this manner, the water is poured over his anointed fingers. In any case, Father will require the water cruet in order to purify the rest of the vessels. Altar server 1 and 2 remain at the altar in order to assist Father in removing the vessels and linens from the altar. Naturally, this may take more than one trip.